All right, guys, we are here today. We got some slightly down action in markets this morning. We are slightly down. Let me fix this. We got well, good morning, team. Hope you guys are doing well today. We got mortgage rates that just showed up. Mortgage rates showed up at 6.86%, slightly higher than the 6.84% expected, or that showed up last time, I should say. And we got PBOC, which is the Chinese bank. They said China and EU had an in-depth exchanges on global economic uncertainties. China's market regulator holds a meeting on support individual business owners. The president also spoke a little bit this morning. He said, quote, "I'm a believer in AI. We are leading China in crypto." JP Morgan talked about PCE. He said, based on the latest CPI report tracking 0.2% rise in core PCE for April, which would hold the annual core rate at 2.6% for PCE inflation data. Let me know if the music's too loud. Yeah, well, really, Ryan says you can show up at 7. It depends on what's going on, to be honest, man. Like, if today we don't really have any economic reports. We got some Fed speakers today, but we don't really have any economic reports. So it really depends on what's going on. Yesterday we started at 7 because we had CPI inflation data show up. So that is what happened. We'll do a poll. Does the market close red or green today? Vote on the poll. Let me know what you guys think. Is the music quiet? Let me know. One of Japan's politicians said U.S.-China deal can be positively assessed. He said, "I will watch U.S.-China developments with highest interest. Natural nations reach deals with U.S. at different times. He's going to monitor U.S.-China developments with keen interest." And yeah. We also had Perplexity partners with PayPal for in-chat shipping as AI race heats up, according to CNBC. Sony warning that this year's profit won't grow at all due to tariffs. ETH crypto has been pushing up. You see United Health is way down there. Here's ETH. Hit 2750s, back down to 26s. So, day before yesterday, or yesterday got pretty high up, and now it's kind of slumping down some here. Palantir at 129. So Palantir almost up to 130s right now, guys. Look at Palantir. Kind of a crazy run. Kind of a crazy run for Palantir, huh? Look at Palantir. Honestly, it's a pretty big move on the upside. Looking at our poll numbers. So we did do a poll this morning. We are looking at 62% of people think the market's green. Yeah, I feel better. Super micro semiconductors kind of lost some steam here. It's not really doing things over the last couple of weeks, but it's up a lot this morning. It's up to almost $50 a share. It's got to be news related, I think. The president said some optimistic things regarding crypto. It looks like super micro semiconductors might just be AI poised. All right, so it looks like Supermicro's gains are up. Analyst Raymond James on Tuesday initiated coverage. So yesterday, he put an outperform rating, price target of $41 a share. AMD also went up 2% pre-market. Chipmaker gained 4% yesterday. It was announced AMD would be supplying semiconductors to Humane in a $10 billion project, and that also, it looks like, had some sympathy reactions with Supermicro semiconductors. That's what I'm seeing so far. Another big news. We got Fed Governor Christopher Waller and Vice Chairman Philip Jefferson speaking today. Cisco earnings after the bell. CPI went up 0.2% yesterday. Gold sells off on easing trade tensions. China cut tariffs on U.S. goods effective today. China's going to reduce its tariff rate on American imports to 10% for 90 days, down from 34%, a move expected to boost bilateral trade and support exporters. So that's kind of the big story going on today. U.S. is lowering the de minimis tariff on Chinese parcels. U.S. slashed de minimis tariff on low-value Chinese shipments to as low as 30% from the previous 145% rate, easing cost pressures on importers. Worldwide markets are up for the most part on this truce from the U.S. and China. Cooler than expected inflation data, stocks, oil, bonds all rising, volatility declining, setting the stage for good open today maybe. Although Apple's down a little bit, but it went up so much yesterday. It's not a shock. You know. And we'll put some futures up. Watch some futures as well here. Check it up on some other news, but look at Supermicro semiconductors popping up. There we go. I'm gonna put some futures. Look at the nasdaq. Nasdaq over 21,000 this morning. Taking a look at bond yields here. Bond yields dipping down a little bit from yesterday's highs. So we are seeing some decreases in bond yields, which is good. Means a lower interest rate sentiment. Although, again, the NBA 30-year mortgage rate did show up higher than last time today. It showed up, I believe, at 7.86%, if I remember correctly, 7.86%. So it did show up a little bit higher. You can see bond yields rising over the last 48 hours and then decreasing since about, mid yesterday. A CPI came out. So still up a lot, though. And you can see the NASDAQ popping up this morning as well. Look at the NASDAQ up to 21,360s. I'm going to have to draw some new levels on these charts. So we are creeping up. We're at 21.4s. I heard June was a slow month. So if we take a look at the average stock market gains, this is from the Motley Fool. June is, it's not a crazy slow month, but it's not like one of the wild months either. Like, here's the S&P. Again, this is from the Motley Fool. September is usually bad. July is usually good. June is somewhere in the middle. June is right here. So June is here. So, it's typically a green month. It averages, according to the Motley Fool, about 0.76%, a little bit under 1% gains in June. May averages losses. But, what you got to understand here is that all of this, aside from maybe like September is pretty valid, market tends to do better in the fall months because spending is higher. Because if it's the holiday season, we got Thanksgiving, we got Christmas, we got January. Like the market tends to do better during these holiday holiday months because people spend more, and that boosts stock prices. And so you got to understand that correlation. During the summer, the opposite is kind of true, and so you'll kind of see a little bit slower June, a little bit slower August. July, we got the 4th of July, and spending kicks off and fireworks and all this stuff too. But July is actually the best month in the markets, and then April is as well. So it goes back and forth, and it really just depends on what's going on. Like, what's going on in economic policy and finance and everything influences these numbers a lot. And so I wouldn't put too much weight on these numbers. You can use them as a really variance heavy guide. But yeah, just be careful. Yeah, 10-year going up. You got to understand. Like, this is interest rate sentiment. So with the 10-year rising, it means higher interest rate sentiment. And we're kind of seeing that as well here, right? So we're kind of seeing that as well. Sorry, I just woke up, so I'm just kind of waking up here. Forgive me. But we do have a higher interest rate sentiment. Yeah, especially this year with the tariff stuff going on, like, we don't know what kind of stuff we're going to get this year. Like, we got all kind of stuff happening this year. So it's a little different. It really is. It's a little different. We don't know what's going to influence all of this, to be honest. We really don't. So you just got to be careful right now. Palantir's flying up, man. Palantir is up to 130s. Crazy movement for Palantir. Look at this. Up to almost 130s right now. So Palantir is making a huge rip. Aside from that, today's news is kind of boring, man. Like, we don't really have like a whole gang of reports today. We got some stuff, but it's not like crazy big. Tomorrow is a very busy day. We got like so much different stuff showing up. You just want to be careful. Alright. Inverted head and shoulders on the 4-hour NQ chart. Yeah, I mean, we're up a little bit too much. Here's the 200 exponential. I'm really going to start taking some trades based around the 200 EMA. I noticed this yesterday. I'm definitely going to do that. But with that, it becomes, I got to be really freaking patient. You know, like I got to be really patient. Yeah, so I got to be really patient with the market dip down to the 200 exponential. Yeah, I'm checking on some other stuff too, but it's weird. Like this one doesn't really work that well on a 5-minute. Let's check out this other one. Try this one on a 5. This one's not too bad on a 5-minute. Yeah, I might short a little bit here. Let's see if we can find something. I'm gonna get a little micro contract. Start the day. Take a small little short position here. Okay, we had Sony earnings come out. Sony posted 21 cents versus 12 cents. 17.25 billion versus 20.4 expected. So a big miss in revenue for Sony. They did worse than expected there. More trade deals this week. Yeah, I think maybe. Yeah, Supermicro is on a tear. We got 66% of people think today's going to be a green day. Though I tend to agree as well. I don't know for sure, but I do tend to agree that we're going to have a green day. Just based off of everything going on and how much the market's already up. Honestly, it's been harder for me to trade. Lately. Like, I think my strategies have done worse in this market for some reason, you know. And so, gotta just not go too crazy. Yeah, it's a little micro contract, though. I'm not going to add to it either. It's too early. What's up, Beach Bum? So, Raymond James initiated coverage on Supermicro Semiconductors. We also had AMD news that propelled Supermicro higher. So, look at AMD. If you look at microchips and you look at, like, AMD ripped all the way up to 116s. This propelled super micro higher is what happened there. So that's what happened, is that we had some other sympathy movement in stocks. Kraft Heinz is investing about 30 billion in upgrading its 30 US factories. We got president meeting with people in the Middle East. I see some people talking about there's an IPO yesterday. Didn't really do that great though. I almost never buy these type of IPOs. They're too risky. Yeah, again, we're in this trade. It's one little micro contract. It's very small. We're going to see if we can let this run. Get a good bit away from us on the upside and then add to it. Meaning it needs to drop down, not go up. I know that was a little confusing how I said it, but I want it to go down, of course, as a short position. Eyeballs are on Rigetti. Yeah, RGTI had earnings a couple days ago. And I think that's why it dropped from 12 down to 10. But I don't know for sure. Yeah. Yeah, Nvidia, guys, look at Nvidia. Nvidia's up to, this is why Supermicro's up. Nvidia is up to 135s, AMD up to 116s. It's propelling Supermicro higher. Rigetti had a bad earnings report. Yeah. Tesla as well, doing very good. Tesla up to 350s, 340s almost. So Tesla's been doing very good as well. This is why I always try to tell people, bro, like, being doom and gloom usually doesn't work. Like, you got to just be smart and understand it's very difficult to make money long term on the short side. As I short the NASDAQ. Yeah, Bitcoin. Bitcoin and back up to 104.5s. 104.5s. There's no news today why you want to short. I just see a little bit of extension. I would maybe ride it back down to the 200 EMA, but it's a very small position. We're just kind of throwing it out there, see if we can. Stuff's up a lot. Generally, profit taking follows, but maybe not always. We'll see. These optimist videos, yeah. Yeah, tomorrow's honestly a huge day. So just understand, like, tomorrow we have PPI inflation, retail sales. Yeah, we got PPI inflation. We got retail sales. I'm going to add to this, guys. We got PPI inflation tomorrow. Just to show you guys. We got PPI inflation, jobless claims, retail sales, Empire State Manufacturing, Philly Fed Index, capacity utilization, and industrial production, business inventories, home builder confidence. We got Governor Barr speaking. We got Jerome Powell speaking. So we got a whole gang of reports. See, I added to a winning position again. This is what's getting me in trouble. I think my initial direction trades have been good. I've chosen to add to my winning positions lately. And something that's happened over and over and over again when I've added to positions is we'll get a big red candle. I'll add to a winning position and then we'll just rip right back up, fake me out, kind of trap my short position or long position, and then I'll lose on the trade. This has happened almost every trade I've gotten into for the last few days. It's been difficult to make money, to be honest. And I think I'm doing the right thing. I'm adding to winners. I'm not adding to losers. I'm adding to winners. But it's been really hard to pick a direction, and I'm not going to hold this very long. If I cut one, I'll at least cut like one of these. I don't mind holding one contract here. Yeah, I'll cut it. Somehow I think it. Yeah. I don't mind holding one contract and letting this play around, but. Jerome will make sure he pops. Yeah, I mean, Jerome Powell speaks tomorrow. John, can we look at NVIDIA calls volume? How to check next support level price point? For NVIDIA? No, I mean, NVIDIA's a stock, bro. Top Steps futures. I think Google's I mean, I like Google long term personally. I'm not an investment professional, though I'm not liable if you lose. You always got to make your own assessment, trade responsibly. As the bottom scroller says, we're not investment professionals. We're not liable if you lose. Always make your own assessment, trade smart. Can't guarantee anything. Sometimes I trade off stream, sometimes I lose off stream. I understand CFTC 4.41. Hypothetical or simulated performance have limitations. Don't copy me. With that said out the way, I like Google as a company. Personally, like I think Google is probably going to go up over time. So I do like Google as a company. Yeah, I mean, I'm being a little bit looser with my trades lately. But yeah. Kind of flat on most of these trades too, so it could be worse. Krispy Kreme stock, I'm not going to invest in it. I mean, it's just not really my style of. I mean, honestly, I'm from Louisiana. I love Krispy Kreme, but as a business, it's iffy. Margins are low. It's risky to open stores. A Krispy Kreme warm donut's my favorite donut ever. But am I gonna invest in the stock publicly? No, absolutely not. It's just too risky, you know. All right, so we're back to green again on this total position. My short would have worked, but I don't think I'm going to add to it this time. I think I'm just going to let it break down, which is what I wanted. Again, I'm not going to add to it this time because every time I add to one of these winning positions, it's turned on me so far. So I think I'm just going to leave one contract here. We'll let it tiptoe down, hopefully. Still break it down. We got 15 minutes till 8 a.m. I can hold the rest pretty close to break even too and get out slightly green, but it just means we got chop. Yeah, look, here's break even. Oh, it's breaking down. It wants to go down. We're basically flat now. I gotta increase my size maybe a little bit on these trades. I think my accuracy direction wise initially is pretty good, but Size is so small, it's hard to really capitalize on it, I think. We'll leave it up though. Yeah, it's way too niche for me. I'm not gonna invest in it. I like Krispy Kreme donuts though, but I'm just not. I don't really want to invest in the stock. This is taking too long, I think, man. We're up about 15 ticks, 13 ticks. Struggling to really hold down here, though. All right, we'll just cut it. We're green on the day. Very small, but as it drops down more. But took too long, man. Kind of back and forth. We added, and then we got out, but we added, so it's a little too early for me to have some good edge. We're still riding high on the big China news. The president met with people in the Middle East. Nvidia is up a lot this morning. United Health is still down pretty big. Palantir is making a run. We got ECB members speaking. Step up checks on banks' dollars funding on president concerns, according to Reuters. We got interest rates that came in a little bit higher for 30-year mortgages at 6.86% versus a previous 6.84%, so a little bit higher. We had China's market regulator holding a meeting on support for individual business contracts. And the president saying optimistic things about AI. He said, "I am a believer in AI. We are leading China in crypto." We also had Chinese robotaxi operator Pony AI report its first fire, according to CNBC. JP Morgan on PCE inflation said based on the latest CPI report, they're tracking 0.22% rise in core PCE for April. Would hold the annual rate at 2.6% if that happens. We also had some Chinese officials say some optimistic things too regarding the trade deal, the U.S. So that's been going on. So to be honest, some of my futures trades are based around higher time frames. Y'all look at the 1 minute chart because it's the most zoomed in chart, so you can watch the price action. But I have an ultra wide monitor right underneath you guys that y'all can't see, right underneath me, right underneath this monitor. And so most of the time I'm actually looking at a 5 minute chart, to be honest. But because it's a live stream, watching the short-term price action, especially in context of like we cover economic data a lot, stuff like that, like this is usually what we're doing. But a lot of the time I'm watching a 5 minute chart. Nah, no mushroom coffee for me. I'm not a big fan of like mushrooms, so I think Powell will still be cautious for a few reasons. First, the market can either go up or down quickly with just a few tweets. Second, the market's not his job. Inflation and employment are. Yeah, I mean, his job is to make balance. Low inflation, dual mandate, low inflation, strong labor market is the dual mandate. So I'm doing a little bit more research into what Powell's going to be saying tomorrow. All right, guys. So we're looking into what Powell's going to be saying tomorrow. Okay, so tomorrow at 8:40 Eastern Standard Time, Jerome Powell will deliver the opening remarks for the second Thomas Labarque Research Conference, speaking on the Fed's ongoing framework review of its monetary policy. In this speech, he is expected to frame the purpose and scope of the review, which Congress requires every 5 years to reassess how the Fed pursues its dual mandate of maximum employment and price stability. Hey, buddy. Love you, dude. Have a great day, bud. Hey. Here, hold on. All right, guys. But yeah, so Congress requires us every 5 years to reassess how the Fed pursues its dual mandate of maximum employment price stability. The FOMC's statement on longer-run goals and monetary policy strategy, the committee's communications toolkit, and how it can be enhanced to improve clarity and transparency. So we'll hear a little bit of stuff about monetary policy tomorrow. Academic presentations like those at this conference and forthcoming Fed Listens events set the expectations for next steps in the Fed. So we'll see what he says tomorrow. This is at 8:40 Eastern Standard Time. 8:40 Eastern Standard Time. And again, we will be streaming this live as it happens. And again, we're day trading on Top Step's funded account program and futures. If you want to learn to day trade, Top Step's the way, in my opinion. It just makes sense versus funding your own account thousands of dollars. Like, check them out if you want to learn day trading. They give you a demo. Base one's a $50K demo. It's $49 a month. If you can make $3K in profit on the demo without losing $2K first, which is a 3-to-2 ratio, they fund you $50K, 90% split after you keep your first $10K in profit. And if you fail, you lose $50. So it's the best of both worlds. Since the 90% split, first $10K is similar to funding your own account. Hey, buddy, I love you, dude. Have a good day, bud. Have a good day, bro. Since the 90% split is similar to funding your own account, but much less risk, they've paid out almost $200 million in the last 4 years. They've been around for over 12 years. And if you use their native platform, if you go to my link, use TopStepX. If you use their native platform, they've got a new dashboard that gets you funded and paid out quick. And you also get zero commission on TopStepX. It's a great way to learn, and most day traders lose regardless of where they trade. If you want to check it out, I'll put the link up in the chat. The futures market is very similar to day trading stocks. No PDT in futures. You can day trade the S&P, the NASDAQ, the Dow, the Russell, gold, some currencies. There's the link right there. But again, remember, I am biased because I get paid by them. Top 3 most biased trader of all time ever in the world. Don't copy me. I don't even claim to be a good trader. That's why I need TopStep, because TopStep is genuinely useful for traders. It honestly saves new traders money, in my opinion, personally. Check them out. Understand all this stuff on screen. NASDAQ's still breaking down a little bit, though. People are talking about Palantir. What's the Palantir current PE ratio? It's got to be, what, 700. It's 557. It's almost 560 for a PE ratio for Palantir right now. Almost 560. Yeah, so I'm seeing some sources that say some of EU's largest banks are assessing unprecedented scenarios of the Fed not providing dollars, according to sources. I don't know if this is true or not. Pawn sent me it, but there's some sources saying that apparently. All right, NASDAQ is flushing down here. Yeah, I'm trying the new Top Step dashboard. I'm trying to switch. Like, I've got a couple funded accounts on this one, but I'm probably just going to take some swings so I can move over to their new dashboard, to be honest. And I think their new dashboard's dope. Like, that's cool. Let's do this. See, it says please scan. Like, I gotta scan my ID and my barcode and my license. Top step now is KYC verification. I'm trying to scan my barcode, bro. Come on now. See, the problem is that it's kind of I gotta get some better at. There we go. Alright, attempt 2 here. This isn't Top Step, this is KYC's difficulty. Alright, let's get it done. Yes. Here is my ID. Okay. Bro, this is a pain in the butt, dude. All right, so we're down here. I like I said, if we get down to the 200 exponential, I might long. I'm gonna put this in a different mode here, huh? Get out of there. All right, chat. So here's the 200 exponential. It's about 313. NVIDIA up there. Palantir testing the 130 level again. We get Palantir testing 130 again. What's the lifetime high of Palantir? I'll have to check it out real quick. Hold on. All right, so the lifetime high of Palantir. I'm pretty sure this is it. Yeah, 130.60. So Palantir around lifetime highs. 130.60. So right over this level is the all-time high. Bro, I'm genuinely frustrated with the barcode scanner. I'm not gonna say it's not good, but it ain't good. All right, last try. All right, so we're testing down. Look, we're still dropping towards that 200 exponential. I'm just going to leave my phone alone. Here's the 200 exponential 314s. Now, I can either short into this or just straight up just wait. 560p ratio is a little high, but still, I think it'll be a good. Okay, there we go. It just took a long time to load. Why NVIDIA and Supermicro pumping? I'm pretty sure a few different reasons. Take a selfie? Okay. All right. Let's get it done. Crap, dude. There we go. Well, come on. Dude, honestly, let's take it. This question on how long will Simi's pump under Rock Meadow Cave? Like Batman, nice. Yeah, I'm trying to take a selfie. I don't know if it's this side. I don't think it is. Yeah, I think they're just... All right, guys, so we're still dipping down. We're at 336s here. NVIDIA at 133s. Palantir testing 130s. We're slightly green on the day. Slightly green. I'm just waiting for their selfie thing to work, but I guess it's going to take some time. Yeah, the new Top Step dashboard is really nice. I'm trying to get into it, but KYC is being a little bit more difficult for me than expected. I finally got the back of my license taken out, and I'll show you guys the new dashboard when we get it. It's like instant funding, instant payouts. I don't know if it's instant, but it's quick. I'm gonna turn my phone this way. I guess I could just download the app. Probably be easier than this, huh? I think I tried to take a picture of myself, but I'm gonna let it reset. I don't know what happened there. Oh, there we go. I got it. Bro, I gotta have like the top 3 longest freaking arms in the world to take this picture. Look at the NASDAQ bounce up. I think I got it though. Yep. It might be my phone, dude. All right, look at this bounce back up. We didn't quite get down to the 200 exponential. Yeah, I think I finally got it, but... Okay, I think it said done. Alright, cool. Alright, I'm done. Get me out of here with this, bro. This is a nightmare. I hate... It's not Top Step. It's just KYC in general. Know your customer. I've had to do it before. Yeah, so again, I see an article that's titled Why NVIDIA is the Tech Winner of the U.S.-China Trade Truce. Right, so... Tech-heavy NASDAQ composite nearly wiped out all of its losses so far this year as market rebounds on the 90-day tariff pause between the U.S. and China. Tech stocks rallied across the board. AMD's up big today. NVIDIA's up big to a huge 134s. All-time highs are 150s. So it's a pretty big thing. Which tech stock benefited the most? A lot of people are thinking it's NVIDIA. NVIDIA's market cap broke over $3 trillion for the first time since February. AI investment cycle, tech rally. NVIDIA went up over 5% on Monday following the deal, and by as much on Tuesday. Those shares are still down 3% to date, but it's very small relative to what it could have been. You know, a lot of people were saying NVIDIA was done. A lot of people were shorting NVIDIA. You know, things just got a little rough for it. Apple, obviously one of the huge benefit companies here. Apple does a lot of deals with China. Look at Palantir, guys, testing all-time highs. Look at the NASDAQ rebound here as well. So Palantir, again, testing all-time highs. NASDAQ starting to rebound back up. We'll see if it holds now. Okay, cool. I got KYC done. All right. What am I waiting for here? Okay, yeah. What do you guys think is the biggest winner? All right, so we got this one. I think I got a couple resets too. Hold on. Let's see. Yeah. Hey, it says resets. How do I reset? How do I use my reset credits on the new Top Step dashboard chat? That's what I'm trying to figure out. It says I have 2 reset credits available. Yeah, whatever. All right, let's switch to it. So this is oh wait, is it? Okay, wait. Let me refresh this. Okay, yeah, there it is. All right, so here's the new Top Step Combine dashboard here. Again, it's a combine. It's not going to be the end of the world. We're going to trade regular NASDAQ futures where we got some levels apparently on these charts. We're under 350, though. If we continue to dip under 350, we'll keep shorting. Yeah, look at that dip. We're gonna just swing forward here, guys. We need a big retracement back up. That's one. Okay, we'll swing for this. If I lose, it's $50. It's not the end of the world. I'm trying to find something to trade besides my funded accounts this morning. So we'll add to this as well. The net goal is to make $1,500. We'll short into 350s, I think. Should you short Tesla? I'm not shorting Tesla personally, bro. I'm good on that. Look at this bounce back up. I'll take 3 contracts max. The Dow's a different animal. The Dow moves very different to the NASDAQ, the S&P, the Russell. It's probably because it's less filled. Like the NASDAQ 100 of the largest stocks in the world. The S&P 500, the 500 largest stocks in the world. The Dow is only 30. It's the Dow 30. So it's only 30 stocks. So it's much less dense with stocks. Yeah, it's just much less dense. And so, like, in that regard, it's going to move a little bit differently depending on what the individual stocks in the index do. Yeah, there's a lot of bank stocks. Look at that. We bounced right off of my entry here. Literally right off my entry. You don't love to see it. It's a combine account, though. So if we lose, not the end of the world. Demo account. But if we pass the test, we get funding. Most of the time, we're trading our actual funded accounts. But today, I'm a little bit iffy about it. You see how much different the regular NASDAQ moves to. It's 10x the speed of the micro. So Verizon saying they believe that churn will normalize in the second half of this year. Alright, so we're back to kind of flat here. I want to give it time. I'd like a profit target down to the 200 exponential if we can get it, but I also don't want to take too big of size. So I'm going to cut half of this break even, basically. Not half, a third, I mean. And then we'll leave two full mini contracts here. And let the rest ride. Yeah, I mean, Zumo, I'm just going to ban you, brother. Stop asking for money, dude. I'm not about to give any random person in the chat money. There's too big of a likelihood that they're just going from room to room begging for money. And I'm good on that. I'm not really trying to fall for that. Where's gold? I heard gold was going down this morning, right? Yeah, gold down to 32.20s. 32.20s. Still kind of flat on this. Yeah, I do see gold falling down. That makes me a little less optimistic in stocks. So look at gold fall down here. Nvidia churning up, Palantir churning up. So if we get too much strength, I will cut this and just kind of live to fight another day and take another trade. If we get, look at Palantir breaking all-time highs. So I don't really want to get stuck in that momentum. We're kind of flat on this trade, so I'm just going to cut it. We're down a little bit, but for a combine account, it's very small. I'm just not trying to risk. I see Palantir ripping over all-time highs. New all-time highs for Palantir, almost 131s. So gold's breaking lows. So if we take a look at gold down here, gold just cracked lows of the day, and it's going down, and that usually puts a little bit more optimism in stocks. So Powell speaking tomorrow, not today. So ARM is eating into Intel and AMD's first quarter, says Citi. I haven't looked at ARM. I bought ARM on IPO day. It was one of my single biggest percentage returns for any investment. I bought ARM at like 40. It ended up ripping up to 160 where I sold around. I don't know exactly where I sold, but it was somewhere around there. Just very quickly, very big returns for ARM. But they're saying it's eating into AMD and Intel's profits. Where's Intel at? Is it over 20 still or no? Yeah, we'll switch back to our funded account and figure it out. I gotta make sure it's the right one. Yeah, here it is. So we're green on this one. Is Pepsi a good buy at lows? I really have no idea what you guys should buy. I like shorting, but the market's been very strong recently, so I don't really want to get caught shorting too heavy. I should probably wait until after the bell too before I trade any. This is the new dashboard. I don't know. Okay, so I do have a couple resets credited. Cool. So we just reset the other account that we have. So we got 2 accounts that we can trade this morning. And I think that's one of the things Top Step is doing different. They're letting you bank resets. That's big. All right, guys. So the news was a U.S.-China trade deal. Low CPI yesterday. We had some optimistic news regarding China this morning that showed up also. Here we had, what do we get? I covered it a lot this morning. So yeah, so PBOC says China and EU had in-depth exchanges on global economic uncertainty. President said his meeting with Syria's President Shara was great. Mortgage rates showed up higher than expected. China's market regulators held a meeting on support individual business owners and more. So, but the big news really is the deal with China. That's still leading the market up. I mean, the market's still flying up on that news, really. Oh, nice. Gold is down. Yeah, I mean, gold's going to go down if the market's optimistic and going up. So, like, that's what it is. Like, if gold goes down, the market's optimistic and going up. Most likely is what it is. But it depends, right? It can vary. Yeah, Palantir keeps breaking highs. Gold did just rebound back up, though, and that might drag the market back down. We don't really have any big 8:30 news this morning, to be honest. Not that I know of. Let me check my sources, but I'm pretty sure we do not have any big 8:30 Eastern Standard Time news this morning. We got Canadian building permits. That's it. Yeah. Today's very, like, kind of a slow day leading into tomorrow, which is a freaking ridiculously crazy day. So today's boring, tomorrow's chaos is what I'm showing. I'm talking about short term. So I'm talking about, we got a little pop in gold, like this little bounce on this 1 minute candle. I'm not talking about it's up on the day. I think most of the recent move is more about Saudi stuff. I mean, it's a mix of the China news, the Saudi Arabia news. It's a mix of all of it, right? Like 90-day pause to Chinese tariffs and their tariffs to us. Mineral deals in Saudi Arabia and investments. Those two things. We did a post on X yesterday. And you can give me a follow on X if you want to help support your boy here on this channel. But we kind of cover basically what's going on in markets. Yesterday we said the big 2 breaking news stories that happened. U.S. President announcing $600 billion investment commitment from Saudi, and China Finance Minister and U.S. making a deal, to adjust lower tariff rates on each other starting today, May 14th. Both of those things gave the market a really big boost up, like an optimistic reaction for sure. We also had some earnings this morning. We'll get our earnings posted. Again, give me a follow on x.com at beginner trades. We cover all this stuff live as soon as it drops. And, yeah. We cover all of it live. So subscribe, hit the notification bell. Market's very flat and choppy, not really doing anything. Let's get this post out regarding earnings. Yeah, it's very mixed morning earnings reports. Sony, DT, SPRY, TSEM, RDCM, ARCO, CLBT, INVZ, GLBE. Market very stagnant. We're up a lot this morning already. Palantir's up a lot. Microchips are probably the biggest winner today with the crazy gains that they've made. Is what it is. So Super micro. Yeah, microchips are doing, like, those are the big winners today. So if you look at Nvidia up to 134s, pulling back a little bit short term. Palantir up to lifetime highs at 131s. Yeah, it's at beginner trades. At beginner trades. We just did an earnings post here. So if you want to check it out, we kind of do morning earnings every morning, and where we cover all the big stuff that happened. Market is so flat though. I mean, look at this. That's all it's doing right now. Not really doing anything. Very strange. Did you see the Tesla Optimus robot dancing? I did not. Let's see it. Sheesh. Popping right back up here. It's been so trappy in markets, so this level held. Oh yeah, I see it dancing. Tyson Foods CEO says, I think chicken supply will be in short supply for a bit amid strong demand and industry production limits. Yeah, I'm seeing the dancing robot now. It's hard to tell what's not AI. AI's gotten so good. It really is hard to tell what's real and what's not. Okay, so Elon posted this, so I guess it is real. Nvidia is very flat too, though, over the last, when was this, hour and a half, hour plus. We still got an hour until the market opens, but Nvidia very stagnant, kind of going up and down. Maybe you can attack a short at the top of the range and cover the bottom, but definitely top 3 ever in the world right now. Yeah, the bearish traders have been real quiet lately, man, and this is my point. The longer you hold a short position, less likely you are to make money. You got to just understand where the big statistical edge is, which is on the upside. I say this every day, but I'm trying to reinforce this, make people understand. Do I trade options, Tyler? No, not really. I'm not really a big options trader. I trade futures, and that's what you see me trading right now is index futures. Yeah, well, like, for whatever reason, bears are kind of toxic. Like, they're very, like, they try to mock and troll and make fun of people whenever we're dropping down. And then whenever we're going up, it's just kind of crickets. And I'm bearish. Like, I short most of the time day trading, if you watch me. Like, most of the time I'm short biased for some reason. And that's done me really well over the last couple months, but not that great the last week. And so it's not like I'm making fun of them too much. But if you're gonna make fun of people when the market's going down, you can't get quiet when the market goes up. I think you gotta be balanced and, you know, make fun of others when the market's going down, and then make fun of yourself if the market goes up. You know, that's the right move, I think, personally. But we trade some crypto. And again, we did our poll this morning. 65% think the market closes green today. 35% think the market closes red. I think it's tough to tell right now. I think we're very flat. We've broken all-time highs in a lot of different stuff, specifically Palantir. AMD's ripping over highs of the day, getting over some big levels, which is good. Pushing towards 120, which is good. But with that said, we're also up a lot. And so, you know, anything could happen. Nvidia is mostly choppy at this point in the morning. Well, Pawn's not really a bear. He might day trade, but I don't know if Pawn thinks the market's going to go down long term. I think he's probably the opposite. Yeah. I try to just go whichever way the trend sends me, but sometimes I'll try to play extension. I think most of the time trading with the trend's the right move in day trading. I think trading against the trend's risky. You know, you might catch bigger moves, and risk reward wise might be a little bit better, but accuracy rise is going to be worse because you're trying to catch the opposite direction. And so I think the better move is to wait for pullbacks. Like I said, if we get down to here, I'll buy it. But like, I need a dip to buy. I don't want to buy it up here because there's too big of a chance it's going to dip, you know. And so it's about patience right now, especially when the market's running up. Yeah, I mean, I'll take both sides too. It depends on what it is. Longer term swing trades, I'm usually always long. I don't ever short anything like that because I think that's risky and dumb. You know, I would much rather make money on the upside investing long term than trying to pick tops of the healthiest companies in the world. You know what I mean? I just don't know if I like that. That doesn't make any sense. Would you say the trade battle is over? Not necessarily, no. We don't have a finalized deal yet, but we got a lot of optimistic news and a pause in the tariffs. So it'll be over when they sign a deal, lock it in stuff, and then everybody will forget about it pretty quickly, I think. That's personally what I think is going to go on. I think once we get a locked-in deal, market will fly up, everybody will forget about it, and then, you know, we'll move to the next phase, which I think we got to pay a lot of attention to GDP this quarter. I think we got to pay a lot of attention to GDP. I think GDP incredibly important, you know, for quarter one and quarter two. Yesterday we had the Atlanta Fed GDP now show up. It showed up. Where did it show up? Was it yesterday or the day before? Maybe it wasn't yesterday. Maybe it's today. I don't know. Hold on, let me see. The president keeps speaking though, so it's kind of hard to. Waller speaking. Maybe it's Thursday. Okay, so yeah, it is Thursday. We got quarter two Atlanta Fed GDP now. Big report, big report. That's Thursday. Be ready, watch that, because who knows what's going to happen there. Canadian building permits just dropped for 8:30 release. They showed up at minus 4.1% versus minus 0.5% expected. So much weaker building permits month over month for March for Canada. Although the market has reacted a little bit favorably to 8:30. We don't really have any news that came out just now. Nothing really important dropped. Again, Canadian building permits much weaker than expected. So. But we are getting a little propelling higher here. Yeah, so I'm trying to figure out. So now the Menendez brothers are eligible with parole after 50 years. This happened in 1990. So they got another 15 until they're eligible for parole. Interesting. I changed it. All right, NASDAQ's starting to rip up. Again, the AMD microchips are the one pumping up. NVIDIA down at 134s. Palantir at 131s. Very frustrating. Very frustrating. I listened to advice and got sidelined. DCA in, but missed out on a huge amount, not bear. Yeah, I mean, most of the time, I've said it once, guys. I'll say it again. I appreciate the donation, though, brother. Thank you so much for the $10 or $9 or whatever it was. I appreciate it. $10. I'll say it once. I'll say it again. The biggest statistical edge long term is on the upside. If you hold a long position in the right thing long enough, like NASDAQ, S&P, Dow, you're going to make money eventually. It might take decades, but you're going to make money eventually. The biggest losers in these type of biggest crash or corrections are people that get emotional and sell at the bottom, right? So you just got to understand the biggest statistical edge. You got to ignore it. There's a lot of there's so much emotion from both sides of the political spectrum that you have to learn to just kind of tune it out eventually, because neither side's going to be objective, right? During election year, everybody was saying the market was going to crash during election year last year. It didn't, This year, we did see a correction, almost a year after the election. Maybe not quite a year, maybe like 8 months after the election. And then, of course, we have that big dip, and then it's doom and gloom. All right, so we have this position I'm going to show you guys in a challenge combine account. We got 2 contracts left. So far we have... Oh, dude, we just exited. I didn't want to exit this, bro. I mean, we made $1,100 on this. We need another 2. If we get a bounce, we will short into this. We'll try it, I guess, here. We got a big cushion on the day. I need another couple hundred to be halfway there. But again, you can kind of see the trades here. I'll add up to 3 contracts up to this 350 level right here, and then we'll figure it out. But I'd like it to keep going down, of course. I don't know what drove this big drop in markets. Let's see. Russian government considering extending restrictions on gas exports for 2 months until the end of October. We had Canadian building permits show up. Okay, we're going to add to a winner here. Try to hold the rest of this break even. We will take a little bit of profit actually right here. Lock that in. Because how much are we? Yeah, we're $1,200 up. We need like 250 bucks left. And so we can short if we get a good position and hold the rest break even. Yeah, we're going to cut that break even right there. Look, completely flat. So no losing trades yet here on this challenge account. We are up $1,200. We need another 300 or so, which we will short into this little bounce. And then we'll add up to 2 positions here. And then if this doesn't work, we'll probably switch to micros and get the rest done with micros if we can. I just need another couple $100 and we'll switch to micros pretty quick too. I'd love to go green and then add to that green position in regular mini contracts to have like a big edge, but all right, we'll take our second add here, and then that'll be it. We'll prepare to cut it quickly if it goes up more. There we go. We're back down to flat. Green now. That's good. There we go. Took half off there, locked it in. There we go. Do I want to add to this and try to finish it now? Yes. There we go. I'll take immediately that off. Lock that in. We need 150 bucks. I'm going to go ahead and cut that right there. Okay, so yeah, we need less than 150. I'm gonna switch to micro contracts now, because we're basically there. We need, honestly, we need about $40, $50 to get where we want. So yeah, but I think the market's dropping because of this news. The Russian government considering extending restrictions on gas exports for 2 months until the end of October. I think that's what's driving this down. We're gonna switch to micro contracts now. There we go. And if we get down to this 200 exponential, we'll try to take that last position there. I entered long and then it turned. That's how it works. Yeah, bro. That's how it goes sometimes. That's the market right now, man. Again, if you haven't already, check out Top Step. If I can make 1,500 one day, 1,500 the next on this, I get funded 50K, 90% split. They pay out millions, fund thousands. It's just a great way to learn. Most day traders lose money. Doesn't matter what course you take, who you follow. Most day traders are going to lose money. And this is a lot cheaper way, learning in a structured environment. If you fail, the base one's $50. Not the end of the world. You can bank resets on Top Step. Their new dashboard gets you paid out very, very, very quickly. Just a great way to learn. Great way to great way to learn. And if you pass it, very similar to funding your own account in terms of split, reward, all that stuff. They've paid out hundreds of millions. They're an affiliate of mine. I'm biased. I get paid by them. Genuinely useful. You want to confirm it all with them first, but here's the link if you want to check it out. Can't guarantee anything. Not an investment professional. Yeah, so we caught this short. It took a while, but we caught it. I think this gas news is dragging markets down. Let's see what oil's doing. Oil's kind of flat, so maybe not. According to VIX movement from a couple days ago, 85% chance that today should be a pullback. VIX is at 18s. Still high, but, not as high as it was during the crash. PPI is tomorrow, 7/7. So PPI doesn't drop until tomorrow. So for whatever reason, there's like a day break. We got CPI yesterday. PPI is tomorrow. Not only is PPI tomorrow, but we have retail sales. We got Philly Fed Index. We got New York Empire State Manufacturing Index. We got jobless claims, unemployment. We got Jerome Powell speaking. We got other Fed members speaking. And so it's honestly a huge freaking day. Like kind of a ridiculous day, to be honest here, man. All right, we're still dipping here, guys. So this is when we're going to start to maybe load into some micro contract positions here. We're going to start it with one, and we're planning is to just add down to the 200 EMA so we don't miss a bounce if we get one. We only need about $40 here, $40. So we will add up to 7 contracts max here, 7 contracts max. We got 5. I'd love a retracement back up, but you also got to understand stuff happens quick. I don't want to take too big of a risk. And we will add our second position here. And this is it. We're not going to take more than this. This is it. We got the 200 exponential right underneath us. I think that's a really good supportive level. But if we break underneath it quick, that's a different story. Which is kind of happening now. We're going to start reducing our size. We just tapped the 200 exponential. We lost $37 on that last piece, so it's still very small relative to the 1200 that we're up. We'll give it a second to bounce here and treat us well, but definitely not as confident in it. We're literally right at the 200 exponential right now, though. If we dip underneath it at all, though, we're out. And we're out. Yep. We'll rethink another buy if we get back up there, but for now we're out. Still up 1,300, 1,200 on this account. We really only need like $150. I don't know. Tomorrow's a big day. I would argue CPI is a little bit more important, but with the accumulation of all the different economic reports, it's a little different. All right, so this is different. We're back over the 200 exponential. I will try to attack this again. We jumped into 4. We're just going to keep it at 4 and let a larger trade come through, and then we'll add to it if we get into the green. Hey, how you doing? Love you. Have a good day. All right, there we go. So we're up big in this. We'll add to this now again. Try it again. There we go. We'll take half off there. Not a little bit less than half. We'll take a third. You know, what you see sometimes is you see an immediate dump back down. And so I got to be very careful because if the drop happens, I think it's going to happen quick. But we'll give it a second. What is our P&L at? Yeah, we're doing good. All right, so we got another upward move. I'm going to hold this, though. I'm not going to add to it. I'm just going to let this work a little bit, see if we can keep climbing. Start reducing size on this dip. Yeah, there's the quick drop. I told you, man, I've seen these happen enough. So we basically were flat on that last trade, which I'm okay with because you see these, like, whenever it's testing the 200 EMA, sometimes it'll bounce exactly right there and then just dump down quick. I've seen it happen enough. NVIDIA just turned down too, so still up 1,200 plus on the day. And again, we'll switch to our actual funded account closer to the opening bell. Do you think gold will break 3,500 all-time high anytime soon? The market would have to turn down, Ivan, to do that. So the market would have to turn. Yeah, NVIDIA just turned weak. Palantir might prop it up, though. I'll try to short this now, but it's a little riskier, but we'll try to get into a couple. Like, the good thing about micros is, especially on these challenge accounts, is I can kind of scale in and out. All right, we're in 3, and I don't think we're going to take any more than that either. Bitcoin's still rising a little bit. I think it's up on the day. Yeah, Bitcoin is up on the day. So, yeah, so I think we're getting a lot of support at the 200 EMA. Kind of faked me out the first time. But now we've got like a little entry position. I'm just going to leave it here. If it goes up enough over like 335s, I'll cut it maybe, but I'm just going to leave this here, see if we break down some more, retesting it. I put in a payout last week, or the week before. All right, so we're back green here again. It's too whippy for me to really take any ads or anything here though, so I'm just gonna leave it. Palantir is going up, Nvidia's looking weak, so it could go either way. In all honesty, AMD just turned down somewhat, but didn't bounce back up. Honest question, dude, you don't think the market is insanely up over less than a month's time? I mean, you got to understand this, guys. Market went like this, and then over the last month it went like this. So, I mean, if it did a down move like this and then an up move like this, which one can we say it's up too much whenever it dropped more? You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. I think you got to think about the reason for the drop was tariff related. Tariff easing happened over the weekend with the Geneva meet with China, and that made a lot of people more optimistic, made the market bounce back. Inflation data came in lower than expected and eased a little bit as well. And yeah, that made people really optimistic, and the market rebounded back up. It's still not where it was. And so, you know, but when the market drops that fast, it can also go up pretty quickly too. And I think that's something that you want to understand and just kind of focus on. And I wouldn't really call this scalping. I mean, we're trading very small here and getting in and out if we think there's too much risks, but it's pretty light positions here, to be honest, man. Like, we've been holding this for what, 5 minutes now? I don't think that's a scalp at all. I think that's a longer term position. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. It depends on how you look at it. I think you got to understand why the market dropped, and the market dropped from tariffs, almost 100% from tariffs. And so, what's going to make the market bounce back? Easing tariff news, you know. It's kind of taking too long. We're trying to be patient with it, but I want to let it break down enough to where I can add to it, but it's not really doing that. So we're just going to keep the risk very light here. Ooh. We'll do a poll based off of this question, though. We'll do a poll. Does the market hold? QQQ. Does the stock market hold the gains we have made over the last, what, 2 weeks? QQQ. SPY. We'll do a poll. Yes. No. We'll make the poll a day. Alright, so now we're going red. This is why I didn't add to it. It's just too whippy. If it moves back over the 200 EMA and holds, we might go long. But we've positioned ourselves to where it's not going to be big regardless. We're back to flat. Again, if you want to vote on this poll, here's the link. Vote. Let me know how you feel. Give me a follow on X as well if you haven't already. There you go. MU dropping for some reason. Well, I mean, I think a lot of microchips are up big. Oh yeah, MU was down pretty significantly though. You're right. So, okay, so we got some stuff going on right now. Roche warns that U.S. investments are at risk due to the president's drug price plans, according to Bloomberg. Why is MU down so much short term? There's something happening with it. Let's see. Let's see if this helps my short position. Micron stock climbs 4% or 5%, outperforms competitors. I don't know why MU's dropping, but something's going on with MU. Look at MU here. Look at this. Let's look this up deeper here, shall we? Okay, so Micron didn't update its guidance at the JP Morgan conference this morning is what happened. I'm pretty sure. Let me make sure. Micron is actively developing HBM4 with mass production anticipated in 2026. But I think that's why it's down. Honestly, guys, so you can kind of see, like, we're not really holding in any specific direction here. Like, we've been green and red on this latest position. In 2022, we had 9% inflation and banks failing. Yeah, I mean, you got to understand the deeper reason for 2022's inflation. So this is what happened. 2020 happened. Lockdowns, stimulus checks, super low interest rate environment and economic stimulus to try to save us from the looming recession or potential depression that we would have gotten from it. Fed stepped in, lowered rates to almost zero, did a bunch of quantitative easing, which is money printing, where they create online bank reserves and then they use those online bank reserves to buy up bonds, mostly, and other financial assets like MBSs. What this did is it brought interest rates down, stimulated spending so much. The stimulus checks also made it worse. Supply chain problems also made inflation worse. And all of these things combined caused inflation spiking by 2022 to almost 10%. With CPI inflation 5, 6, 7% for PCE, core PCE. And so it was the consequence of all that stuff. Economic stimulus, supply chain problems, stimulus checks, everything that went on there. And so then the Fed gets really hawkish and restrictive. They say, oh no, inflation's spiking. What do we do? They get really hawkish. All right, so we're going to add to this finally now that we got a little confirmation in the position here. But I'm not super confident in this, though. So we'll add to it, but we'll be very tight. And so then the Fed plays hawkish, and they start raising rates, getting restrictive, trying to push the economy down to combat the inflation that we saw at the period of time. They remained hawkish and restrictive for a year and a half. They raised rates really aggressively, and then they paused rates for a year straight up until September of last year. And they're still doing QT from this. They're still doing quantitative tightening, which is the reduction in their balance sheet. Ugh, look at this fake out. We'll let it test the 200 EMA, but they're still doing QT from this. So they're still reducing their balance sheet, especially at MBSs. They reduced they're still doing a little bit of Treasury QT, but it's not like it was. Yeah, we're gonna cut most of this now too. What a fake out position here. We're gonna get out, very small loss in what everything could have been. We're still up 1,200 on the day. just not really going anywhere. I was hoping with this big candle we get us a breakdown, but we retraced back up and immediately went right back up. And again, this is going to give me the red light to wait in trading here. Again, we're still up 1,200 on this account. We're just not doing anything now. We're very boring here. No, the Michigan Consumer Center report is, I believe, tomorrow. Or no, it's Friday. It's always Friday. The U-Mitch Consumer Sentiment Inflation Expectation report is Fridays. Always Fridays. So you can have prices in some areas go down and still have high inflation. Yeah. Yeah, it's a cumulative thing. It's not just one aspect of it. And prices aren't really going to go down like that unless we're talking about food and energy prices. Even still, they're stubborn as well. But when we look at like core inflation, when you hear the Fed say core or core PCE, they're referring to excluding food and energy, because food and energy are just really hyper volatile. They can move in a lot of different ways for a lot of different reasons. When you hear core, that's what they're talking about is core inflation, core PCE inflation. What causes inflation? Well, supply chain restraints, too much spending, too strong of a labor market, low interest rate environment can in some ways, you know, a lot of stuff basically. I don't know what the market's going to do. I don't know if it's going to go up or down. Nobody does, really. We can all speculate. But see, we're coming back down, but honestly, I have no interest in shorting this now. I think I just got to wait. We got 30 minutes until the market opens, chat. 30 minutes. Palantir still consolidating right around all-time highs. There's the 9 a.m. scrum potentially here. AMD announces a new 6 billion share repurchase authorization. So that just dropped. So let's see if AMD's heading up. With the buyback news. Yeah, look at AMD pop on this buyback news. So up to almost 120s for AMD. Nasdaq's falling down some here. U.S. Speaker Johnson believes it could take until the weekend to get a deal on the new salt cap, according to Punch Bowl Sherman. So again, he thinks it's going to be... he thinks it's going to be a weekend, maybe. What did they do in the salt cap too? Salt cap, along with many other provisions, is set to expire 2025. So there's not going to be any cap. Let's see. Hold on. See if AI knows what I'm talking about. All right, so we broke down again, then we ripped back up again. But we're just really flaky right now in markets. Why did 10-year bonds spike since CPI was lower than expected? Well, because the economy has been stronger than expected, especially over the last week after the big tariff news over the weekend. A stronger economy means less of a need to cut rates. AMD still rip it up. Almost a 120 at 119s right now for AMD. Almost a 120 at 119s. Yeah, I mean, if yields are spiking, bonds are going down. They always they do the opposite of each other. All right, guys, 25 minutes. We're going to be day trading the opening bell live. We will see what we get today. I see you, Blaze. Have a good day, bro. Yeah, we're going to be day trading the market open, guys. Let's see if we get anything good. Still down, though. AMD still breaking highs, though, testing 120s now. Palantir still pulling back to 130s. Again, AMD put out some news a couple minutes ago that said that they are announcing a new 6 billion share repurchase authorization. And that is what's dragging AMD up. Jim Cramer just posted ready to roll. Uh-oh. What does that mean? All right, guys. Still consolidating. AMD at 120s. 6 billion share repurchase authorization for them. Crypto to the moon or not? I think Bitcoin's up. Today, the last time I looked at it, was up some. Yeah, it's up, like, I don't know if I'd say it's up, but it's around where it's been. It's holding. Yeah, HIMS has been ripping up too. AMD's going up. MicroStrategy. It's had a pretty good couple weeks, for sure. Pretty good month and a half, really, with Bitcoin's rise. Yeah, UNH crashed down yesterday on CEO swap news. It's still down a huge percentage, though, for UNH. Like, look at UNH here. Look at this drop for United Health. Crazy drop. Still very stagnant here. Look at UNH. I'm still watching AMD. All right, guys, we got 20 minutes. All right, still bouncing back up. The market hasn't really done anything. This is basically the range we've been in. Very up and down. Now we're going back over the 200 exponential here, so very kind of indecisive. Which way do you think we're going from here, up or down, guys? Let me know in chat right now. AMD still rebounding, testing 120s, though, so that looks good, but let me know which way you think we're heading. Up, down. I'm not awake yet. Rivian and Lucid a good buy. I don't like Lucid. Rivian's different. Lucid, the problem is that it's just too small of a market base. You know, people don't really want to buy them. I mean, I'm not saying everybody doesn't want to buy them. MU's basically coming right back. Look at MU. I'm not saying nobody wants to buy them. What I'm saying is that their consumer base is too small to really prop up a public company, in my opinion. Like, not enough people are like, yeah, I want to buy a Lucid. They just don't have enough interest. I'm not saying they're not cool. They just don't have the consumer base they need. And I mean, they're a $2.50 share company. So yeah, for EVs, it's just risky. You know, I'm not going to invest in them. I've said this for years and years and years. I don't trust any up and coming EV brand outside of Tesla, maybe Rivian. Those are the only two. Everything else is nonsense to me. There might be some other like Chinese companies that are good, but I don't know that market well enough. And US based companies are almost always going to fail if they're not legacy automotive, which means they're a big company, a big vehicle, a big automotive company to begin with, like Toyota or GM or whatever. If they're not them or Tesla, Rivian, I'm not really interested in investing. They're almost certainly going to fail. Peloton as well, dude. Peloton, bro. I was pretty outspoken about Peloton as well. Peloton has gone down a lot, man. Peloton. I saw something that said people who invested $10,000 in Peloton years and years ago and now are only up 800, or people that were up 10K, or no, people who invested, $10,000 in the Peloton now only have $800. I think it was from 2020 in the last 5 years. So Peloton's had a big turn down too. I mean, they just don't have enough businesses. They have a mix of like dilution in the space, right? Everybody's trying to do what Peloton does, mixed with they got too big too quickly, started spending a bunch of dumb money, creating virtual reality rowing machines and things nobody ever asked for. And so, yeah. Did y'all hear about for all my jiu-jitsu people, did y'all hear about the J-Rod news, bro? I like Lucid cars. I think they're cool cars. I don't like them as a public company, personally. Just not what I'm interested in. And to be fair, I've had all these same sentiments for, I would say, at least 3 or 4 years. Anybody that's an OG really knows that I've had these same sentiments for years, and a lot of them turned out to be correct. Peloton down huge, Lucid down big, Mullen down big. Doesn't mean they're not going to rebound and succeed. I'm not. The risk doesn't outweigh the reward, I think. Palantir, I like Palantir. It's just the PE ratio scares me, but I do like Palantir as a company. I think that's different. That has a justifiable business. Still creeping higher here. Still creeping higher. All right, guys. Oof. All right, we're all the way back up to 340s. Whoa. Let's check. I'm long Amazon. I don't hate Amazon as a company. I think Amazon will probably do well long term. I mean, everybody in the US uses them. All right, guys, we got 12 minutes left. All right, dipping down a little bit. I kind of want to buy the dip, but we got 12 minutes into the opening bell, so I'll probably just wait. Ugh. Sorry, I'm messing with this here. All right, so MU rebounded all the way back up. We got AMD over 120 now. Look at AMD here. AMD all the way up to testing 121s right now. Look at this. I think that's driving the market back up. Hold on one second, chat. Up to 121s. Bond yields. 9 minutes. Up a little bit today. Higher interest rate sentiment. Selling off in maybe bonds. If we take a look at TLT. We're down a little bit. We're at 85.6s here. 85.6s. Who owns Discord? I don't know if Discord, I don't watch ice hockey. I used to play it when I was a kid. I wasn't very good. But yeah, Mullen, man, the problem is that, like, yeah, it's just too risky. Yeah, the problem with Mullen is just too risky. It's an up and coming. Nobody knows about a Mullen, let alone wants to buy a freaking Mullen. That's the issue. AMD over 121s here. All right. We'll put this back up. Make sure. Where's my OBS? There it is. There we go. That's pretty good. And I'll stretch this out. Bond prices are down. Palantir's still trying, though. Zero sound? Yeah, it's just you, Corey. Calm down, bro. Yeah, president speaking right now. I don't want to buy this. We got 7 minutes. I think I'm just going to wait. He's signing some type of deal. I'm pretty sure. Do I not have any? Okay. Could have bought the dip. I'm going to wait. Bonds are down. Let me see what AMD is doing now. AMD's still ripping up, guys. That's one of the reasons the market's flying up. It's too close to the opening bell for me to trade. So we're just going to wait. AMD will enjoy the SPY. I mean, there's a little bit of sentiment. There's a little bit of sympathy movement is what I meant to say with AMD and the SPY, but it's small. Hitting the 200 exponential again. I'm just waiting. We're up about 1,200 on this account on the day, though. So, like, I think I have the luxury of waiting. I just want to wait for the best moment. I need to make... I need to make about 240 to get halfway there. I'm trying to switch over to the new dashboard. As I always say, though, guys, I'm not an investment professional. I'm not liable if you lose. We're just hanging out here on stream covering economics. Market's super flat. AMD went up. Palantir is up big on the day. Broke all-time highs. So we're just kind of sitting here. Yeah, so I've got a bunch of different funded accounts, Julius, on Top Step's old dashboard. I'm trying to switch to their new one. And so I'm just trading this one today, trying to get funding in their new dashboard, because I think their new dashboard is just better. You can bank resets in the new one. There's a lot of good benefits of being a part of the new one. And so that's what I'm doing right now. Hard not to trade. Yeah, I mean, I'm just going to sit tight and waiting. It just doesn't make any sense to do anything here. I need to make 800 today to be even. Worst mindset you could ever have. If a new company joins the S&P, does the old one get taken? Does one get taken out? Yes. Most likely. I mean, unless there's a one that, I mean, yeah, they have 500 companies in the S&P 500. And so they're not going to put over 500 in the S&P. Not that I'm aware of, at least. All right, so here's the breakdown. Going up and down and up and down. Still break it down. Tomorrow's the big day, though. Tomorrow we got PPI retail sales, Jerome Powell, New York and Philly Fed index data. Friday we have University of Michigan consumer sentiment report. So and like we try to day trade, but again, people miss out on the whole point of the channel. I'm not even claiming to be a good day trader. I just hang out with the stream, cover economic reports. That's really what has grown my channel the most, is covering economic reports. And you know, we get thousands of people that tune in because we cover those economic reports. And so again, if you want to help support the channel, I'm not out here blowing smoke trying to claim to be the greatest trader of all time. I don't even claim to be a good trader. I'm just kind of hanging out, taking trades, and covering the major economic and finance news that we get every single day. So if you want to know what's going on in finance, subscribe, hit the notification bell. We appreciate it. We got over 800 people again here for the opening bell on a day where we don't have anything going on. So I appreciate you guys. Thanks so much. We'll see if we keep heading down now. We're under the 200 EMA. AMD right here has been ripping up all morning. Hey, thank you, Matt. Appreciate you, brother. Thank you, sir. I did a coin flip last Friday, sold all my stock and put it in Nvidia, Apple, Amazon. Honestly, that probably did pretty good if you did buy those. All right, so there's the opening bell, guys. There's the open. Still creeping higher. Let's see if we keep going. Thanks, John, for running the ship all these years. Hey, I appreciate you guys. Yeah. Oh, man. I'm sorry, guys. Gotta yawn a little bit, let it out. One thing that's moving at the opening bell on the upside, I mean, aside from the regular NASDAQ, is Microsoft. Microsoft's heading up. We also have MU going up a little bit, retracing some of these losses that it made at the opening bell. AMD is kind of flat since the open, hasn't really done much. Palantir is up to almost 130s. So again, we're not going to trade this. We're going to let it chill and just wait. It's not that I'm tired. I mean, I get up, it's 6 a.m. my time when I wake up in the morning. So y'all are literally seeing me like roll out of bed when I get up. I'm also doing stuff on the back end. Like I've got a 49-inch ultra wide monitor that y'all don't see. And that's where most of the stuff that I'm looking at a lot of different indicators on the back end as well. This is a 1-minute chart on the NASDAQ right here. But again, like I've got 5-minute charts up in the back end too. I mean, it depends on what's going on. I put the 1-minute chart up so you guys can see. Like the big breakout action. Because a lot of the time we're covering economic reports and data. So I mean, we're covering stuff that influences the market very quickly. So we might as well put the shorter term time frame up. But we got a big retracement on the upside. AMD starting to head up. It's at 122s. Still heading up. We'll try to go long if we get some good opportunities here, but we need a... I don't mind us testing this high up here and then pulling back some and buying that dip, riding the trend up some, but we got to wait for it here. It might take a little time. I took my profits. I ain't taking no chances with AMD. It's probably the smart move. I don't know, though. We'll see. Still heading up. AMD ripping up. Look at Palantir, guys. So Palantir breaking all-time highs. Look at this move. And then look at the NASDAQ's rip. Yeah, on this account, we're up 1,200. I'm just waiting for like an opportune time to get something. I need a pullback, though. I don't really want to buy this huge candle. It's too strong. But a lot of stuff's moving up. Amazon's kind of coming back down, but Microsoft's up. Tesla's down. What about Google? Google's flat. Meta. Opened red, rebounding back up right now. Here's the previous high. Let's take a look at some levels here. Here's the previous high up there, 283s. We got this level here. What is this, like 35s? Probably do 50 right here too. I've got my crawfish mug. Do you buy the previous high of the day? I think you could. It's a little too late now, but I need a kind of a larger dip, to be honest. I wouldn't mind buying the 70 level here more than the this level right here. I wouldn't mind buying that over the previous high. It might work, but it also might crash down. Palantir up to 134s. ARM is pumping, is it really? Yeah, ARM is. AMD's starting to dip down though. Look at this. Palantir's still going up. Nvidia's another big one you probably want to watch. MU back up a lot too. Nvidia's running at the opening bell as well. Like, look, microchips are kind of the story of the day with all the big economic news that you got going on. In that contract for 3 months. I bought ARM for nostalgia, John, and look at her go. Hey, nice, Michael. Congrats, man. All right, so we got a little consolidation. You could buy the previous high right here. Again, I'm going to wait. I'd rather a dip to 70 versus this. You got maybe 75. We'll start to buy if we get down to 75. Maybe we should have bought this, but I didn't like the risk. AMD creeping down too here. I like crypto. Again, I like markets in general, right? Like, I don't claim to be a good day trader. I just kind of cover finance and markets. Like, I cover economics, reports, Jerome Powell earnings, big market news, tariff news, economic news. We day trade, but it's not like... I think if you could predict the economy, it's easier to make money. This is something I say every day. If you could predict the economy, it's easy to make money. All right. I gotta wait for it. All right, that's good enough. 2 contracts here. We'll try to add to it if we get green. There we go. We'll take half off. Maybe add a little bit more here. Play with it. Take another piece off. All right, so we're out. We got the dip right where we wanted it. It kind of shows like waiting for the opening bell is the right move sometimes. We wanted to buy it at this level. We came right back to this level, retraced right back up. Very quick, but it worked really well very quickly. We'll just kind of wait for good setups like this. I got to take larger size though, so we'll probably pivot to like 5 micros. But we did, like the level I was looking at, this is too short term to attack, in my opinion, right? So like if we dip down here, it's too short term. There's too big of a chance that we're going to come down there. And if you buy it here, you can get stopped out by the time it hits to this level. And so the logic of the trade is that I think it makes a lot more sense to attack this level here, where we also have confirmation here and here. So we have 3 confirmations in the last like hour. A lot of people short term are watching this level. And so we drew this, and that's kind of the level a lot of people seem to attack as well. So that's kind of the logic of the trade. I think it makes sense, but top 3 worst ever right here. Amazon's breaking down. We're at 210s. I don't know. AID, I don't know how many positions I'm holding. It might keep coming down too. I'm looking at 350s, but a lot of stuff's up big already. Like Palantir's breaking all-time highs multiple times. AMD is up big. Nvidia and microchips are up big. Even if they continue up, a lot of the time they're not going to hold. And so I tend to think we're going to come down today, but who knows, man? We might just rip higher. And there we go. Still in an upward short-term and long-term trend. Long-term meaning like 24-hour trend. But a lot of red showing up. Amazon breaking down here too. We'll try to buy 350s. We'll see what happens. But we didn't quite get it. Got down to 55s. Okay, there we go. We'll take 3. Try to add another 3 down there. Okay. Maybe not need to. We'll take 2. We'll hold our 2 right here. We'll take 3 again. Take 2/3 of it off again. See if we can take a little bit more size. I don't like this. I'm going to cut it. We made money on the trade, by the way, but maybe it'll come down to 350 and bounce. I'll say 45s. 40s might support it. We'll see. Probably could have held it, but hey, later, Sam. So we did bounce right there at 52, so that idea worked as well. Do I want to buy into this retracement? I don't know. I could. Maybe I should have. I don't want to buy the retest of 350 now. And if we start to break down under this, I really don't like it. I like a short. So I think, honestly, I think if we get under 350, I think it opens the door to shorting the market. But I need to let it test that level here, so we're kind of indecisive for me. So like if we get under 350, I like a short better, but it might take some time. We'll give it a little bit of time. After all that good news, we have a lot to make up. Yeah, so look, there's under 350. We got the 200 EMA right here. I mean, unless we're just going to chop today, I'll pivot to a short. If we can retrace, I'll short into it. Oh, I tried to click it. I didn't quite click it. I wanted it. Hold on. All right, we'll try it. 200 EMA is right there, though, so I got to be careful. But well, it's small. There we go. There we go. We'll hold the rest break even. Let the rest flush down. Doing pretty good. The 200 EMA is right there, but we'll let it test. Now we're going to add to this now. There we go. And we'll cut the rest right there. All right, so yeah, we need about 120 bucks left. About 120 bucks. Our thesis on breaking under 350 opens the door to shorts. Made a lot of sense. Here's 350. I think that opened the door to shorting it pretty clearly. Just because, like, you got to think about it like this, right? Like, we have this big angle on the upside. If we retrace that entire angle on the upside and we break under a milestone area like 350, a lot of people are going to pivot to a short bias sentiment. And so that's kind of what happened here. Big dip underneath this. What happens? People pivot to a short bias sentiment. Breaks it down. We also had complete retracements in, like, AMD came all the way back down to the open. NVIDIA turned all the way down under the opening bell. Open. Tesla testing lows of the day. Amazon testing lows. So... yeah, I mean, one red open doesn't cancel out the huge green days of 5-6% that we've made over the last, 3 days, 4 days, 5 days, market days. It's too early for bears to celebrate like they're somehow right. Like, the market's up too much over the last week, to be honest. I'm not even like rooting for a politician. I'm just saying the market's up 5-6%. A 0.5% drop or whatever this is relatively insignificant. It doesn't matter, The link is right here if you want to check out Top Step, no PDT in futures, day trading the S&P, the NASDAQ. I really recommend everybody try their new dashboard. Their new dashboard's where it's at. You get funding almost immediately, or you get payouts and funding very, very quick on their new dashboard. You can track a lot of stuff in a lot better way. No PDT in futures. You can day trade the S&P, the NASDAQ, the Dow, the Russell, gold, currencies. Very similar to day trading stocks. If you want to check them out, there's the link. Great way to help support the channel. Again, guys, as I always tell people, do not copy me. I might be terrible and have no idea what I'm talking about. Might be wildly wrong about anything and everything I say. It's entertainment only. Understand CFTC 4.41. Hypothetical for simulated performance have limitations, guys. Can't guarantee anything. Understand all this stuff on screen. But if you want to check it out, there's the link in chat. All right, so red action showing up. Deep red showing up too. Look at this. Flushing down quick here. We're only about 20 minutes into the open too, so we got some time. Yeah, Nvidia is still breaking down big. If we get a little bounce, I'll short it into like 312s, maybe like 320s. But I need to bounce back up now. Personally, I think I just got to wait for that bounce. That's what I want. Hey, nice drop. Yeah, I mean, guys, listen, man. Like, we get a lot of people that say a lot of different stuff. But the reality of it is, I don't even claim to be a good day trader. That's not what it's about. Like, I cover economic reports, earnings. Like, if you want to know what's going on in markets, you can follow me and figure out what's going on. I think day trading is a skill you can have for the rest of your life, but I think most people lose. And I think generally the people that are the loudest about being good are typically the worst. People who are the most critical of others are typically the most rookie traders. And so I think you got to understand, like, most day traders lose. Doesn't matter what course you take, who you follow. And in that regard, Top Step's incredibly useful because it just limits your risk when you're learning. You're still trading under pressure, but it's not the full extent. But I only have one sponsor, and it's Top Step. I don't sell a course. I don't sell a service. I don't claim to be a good trader even, and I just try to give people free market stuff. And that's helped me grow a lot. You know, the channel's grown a lot. I just appreciate you guys. The channel has grown. You know, our morning streams, dude, I wanted 315s, 320s. We got up to 313s. I was too busy thanking you guys. I should blame you. But no, it's all good. I wanted to short right here, if remember, but what was I saying? Yeah, my normal morning streams used to average like 400 or 500 people. Now we're averaging like 1,000. And so it's grown a lot. I appreciate the love. Thanks so much. Again, hit that like button, hit the subscribe button. We appreciate it. If you want to follow somebody that doesn't blow smoke and just act like the greatest ever, definitely top 3 greatest ever, subscribe. Hit the notification bell. Swing trading? Yeah, I typically do better swing trading too, in all honesty. I typically do good at day trading after the bell. Before the opening bell, I'm just kind of playing around, taking very small trades. Like before the opening bell, I'm taking very quick, very short term, like trying to establish positions and then build up profit and add to winners and take longer, like kind of like more speculative trades. After the opening bell, I just have a system of attacking levels versus extension. So like if we have a lot of confirmation here and we've dropped down pretty big, the momentum's on the downside, so if we short a bounce back to this level, you'll have a quick little reaction to it a lot of the time. Or in this instance, we talked about buying 350 and we got a nice little bounce there, you know, stuff like that. Buying this level, we got a nice little bounce there, even though we did turn all the way back down. We talked about if we broke under this level, we'd probably get some really red momentum, and then we did. Now we're creeping back up though. Let's see if we we'll short this one contract though, and then maybe add to it if it bounces up, and then take it with maybe 2 contracts max, and then just let the rest roll. See if we get it to the green and add to more. And if it goes against us, we're confirming choppiness. There we go. There we go. We're going to add a little bit to this. Nice. Take a little bit more off here. Cut it. No losing trade since the opening bell, chat. Yeah, I mean, maybe you're right, Jonathan. I don't know. You seem a little bit too, no offense to you, it's all good, but you seem a little bit too politically biased against, you know, whomever to really look at things. Like, look, you got to understand, the 90-day pause to tariffs, China working together with the U.S. is a huge thing, like absolutely huge. Again, I don't care about a politician. I really don't. I don't care about any of them. But I'm also not going to criticize them so much to where it clouds judgment. You know what I mean? Like, look, bears, and I don't know what the market's going to do. It might crash tomorrow. If it does, it'll honestly be better for my channel because people tend to tune in when there's a fire. But that doesn't mean we have to go down. We could very easily go up. If we get good inflation data, if we get good economic reports, market's going to go up most likely. And so I'm not super politically biased. I think, you know, criticizing a politician, that's fine and all, but I think we have to just kind of look at markets for what they are, which is very variance heavy. Nobody freaking knows what we're going to do. Right, when you're too, the way I always used to explain it, and I'm not talking about you, Jonathan, so I'm going to say this prefacing it with, I'm not talking about you. But the more radical you get on either side, the less intelligent you probably are, right? Like, that's the way I look at it. Most reasonable people are somewhere in the middle with stuff. I mean, I'm not saying you can't side with either side and still be a smart person. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is that if you get really radical on either side, you know, I don't know, man. I think too extreme on either side doesn't make sense to most reasonable people, is what I'm trying to say. Maybe I didn't say it in the best way. But. And I think once you get to the tippity top of everything, they're all the same anyway. They're all on the same side anyway. It doesn't matter. And I think it has to do with like susceptibility to marketing and like manipulation, like how easy it is for you to get pushed super extreme on one side. You know what I mean? And I think you got to be resilient to that a lot of the time. Yeah, I feel bad not buying Amazon 20 years ago, but it's not worth getting too upset about. All right, guys, we're just chopping sideways the last 5, 6, 7 minutes. We're coming back down. We tapped the 200 exponential exactly right at it. That's why I shorted here. I should have held it a little bit longer, but it's all right. Honestly, I haven't had a losing trade since the opening bell, so I don't really want to give back on my green streak too heavy. Getting greedy with positions. All right, guys, I'm going to get out of here, though. Tomorrow we got PPI inflation data. Remember, chat, tomorrow PPI inflation. Be ready. We got PPI inflation, retail sales, all kind of stuff tomorrow, to be honest. Like, we got a whole gang of reports. Today's kind of slow. We don't really have anything going on. No economic reports, no data, kind of boring. Tomorrow we got a whole gang of reports. We got retail sales, PPI inflation, jobless claims unemployment, Philly Fed Index, Empire State Manufacturing Index. We got Jerome Powell speaking and more. So just be ready. Industrial production capacity utilization data, all that stuff drops live tomorrow, 8:30 Eastern Standard Time is when most of it happens. Subscribe, hit the notification bell. We will be back live tomorrow bright and early. Be safe, be ready. Be good. I'll see you guys later. Have a great day. Y'all be safe.